So in this video, I'm going to show you a basic way that you can use spreadsheets to keep track of attendance in your classroom. I think that this is the best way for you to be keeping track of attendance unless your school has a very specific way that they want you to take attendance using some other program. This is how I keep track of attendance in my classroom. And this video is going to show you the basics, and then I'll have another video that shows you some of the more advanced features you can do because you're using a spreadsheet. In this video, we're just going to talk about a couple of the things that will help you take attendance for your classroom or for your club or for field trips that will be really helpful because spreadsheets are amazing. I have this list of students who are made up, and I'm going to copy these names and I'm going to put them into my spreadsheet. Putting them into the spreadsheet is a good first step. They're each in a different row, and so I'm going to have different days for attendance for each student. But by just putting it in the spreadsheet without a header, that makes it a little bit difficult. I'm going to right click over here on number 1, and I'm going to insert a row above. And so I'm going to put my header up here, and I'm going to say student name. And this is a great best practice for spreadsheets, is to, especially in Google Sheets, is to use this freeze row function. So I'm going to click this dark row, and you see it goes all the way across. I'm going to drag it down. And that's going to make the first row always be visible. So I scroll down, even though I can't see Ava's name anymore, I can still see the header for my information, which is right there. I do have a couple names that are longer than others and are hanging out of the spreadsheet column. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to double click, and that's going to auto size this column to fit everybody's names. So I want to take attendance every day. And I'm going to go ahead and say that you're starting the school year off a new zeal for professional data collection in your classroom, and we're going to say that on the first day of 2020, first class period of 2020, you've started this attendance. And if I wanted to mark that all students were present, I'd have to type the word present a bunch, or I'd have to copy this and paste it a bunch of times, which would be really annoying. So instead of having to copy and paste this text, one of the cool things that you can do with the spreadsheet program is use this little box down here in the corner, and you're going to click and drag, and it will duplicate all the information for you. So I just marked every student present, and so I can come in and say Friedrich was actually absent. So that saves me some typing, but it's still a little bit tedious and annoying. So let's say on the next day, you're going to try to do this a little bit better. So on the second class period that you have them for the year, you are going to try to use a new function in the spreadsheet program, and that is called data validation. So I'm going to go up to data validation, and I want to make a drop-down menu of the different statuses a student's presence can be in my class. So it's present, absent, or irregular. So a student can be late to class or leave class early, and I'm going to mark them as irregular. So those are the 3 different functions that I'm going to want in my drop-down menu. So here we go. I got a bunch of drop-down menus here. So I'm going to click on this and say Ava's present, and you know what? A better way of doing this is going to say everybody's present, and now I can go through and say Eduardo was absent today. And that's a faster way of doing it. I don't have to type them or copy and paste them. It's just a quick drop down, duplicate that everywhere, and go through and mark the 2 students who are absent today. Now when it's time to take attendance on the third class period of the year, instead of having to go through and make that data validation every time, I can just come up and say, and right click the header for the column, say insert 1 to the right. And let me put in the date. And my data validation's there already. Google Sheets has duplicated it and moved it over so that I can quickly do my attendance just like I did before and mark whatever's going on. And if a student leaves early, I can go ahead and mark them as a regular. So that's great. That's a super fast way of doing it. But if I want to be able to take action on this information, this kind of blends together. It's not super, doesn't pop out at me that there's a problem or an issue. Here's the last thing I'm going to show you in this basic video example of things that you can do to keep track of your attendance. We've already set up an automation basically that's going to save us a bunch of time. So you just saw how long it took me to take attendance for a class period. It's pretty quick. You right click, insert one to the right, type in the day's date. Mark the first student as present, drag that down everywhere, mark everybody as present, and then update as necessary the students who are absent. But again, I want to make this information pop a little bit more visually so it's something that I can see and take action on. So I'm going to select all of this data. I'm going to come up to Format, and I'm going to go down to Conditional Formatting. And so what I want to do is I want to say format a cell which text starts with the letter P. I can do this a couple different ways in here, but this is the fastest way of doing it, in my opinion. So the text starts with P and say that's good. Format, I want it to be green. It's good when students show up to school. That's great. So if a text starts with P in any of these cells, it's going to mark it as green. I'm going to add another rule, and I'm going to say if the cell starts with absent, it's bad. We don't want students not in school. So I'm going to mark it as red. And instead of hitting done, I can come down here and say add another rule. And if the text starts with I want to see that separate if there's an irregularity. And now I'm done. So now I have this very visual way to see student information. And if we have another class period, another day of the school year. Oops. 0, 1, 10. Let's mark everybody as present. You see the conditional formatting comes over when we do that, just like it does for the data validation. And I can see that my absences, my irregularities all pop up just like everything else does. So by using data validation, which is the drop-down menu that you can create by going to data and data validation, by using that, we standardize and make updating attendance information really quick. And then by using the conditional formatting feature, we can quickly see trends in the information for student absences across time or a certain day's attendance. We can see what's going on a particular day. And by using irregularity as well as an option, all of that information is actually tracked to the minute in Google Sheets. So if I come down here and look at the details, I can see when I did the attendance information in here, and then now that we have an irregularity 20 or 30 minutes into class, I can come to this spreadsheet and I can come back and see that at 7:53 I marked this student as irregular. So I don't have to mark in when the student left. I can just have this spreadsheet open during class and update their attendance status, and it'll track exactly when that student left. So hopefully this spreadsheet is a helpful way for you to save some time and effort and energy while still also producing professional data that is actionable. So this is the basic video example, and in the next video I'm going to show you some of the more advanced functions that you can do with this information, but hopefully this inspired you to start keeping track of your student attendance in a spreadsheet. And if you do that, then you can use the even more advanced features as an added bonus to your student data. Until next time.